Hello everyone, myself Sumit Chandna. As you can see my screen, CSS Sumit Chandna. Okay, so we'll learn today about CSS. So before starting, I recommend you to go through basics of HTML before going to CSS part, because you'll able to understand what the difference between HTML and CSS. I'll cover that, but little basic knowledge of HTML also is required. Uh, Talking about my introduction, myself Sumit Chandna. Currently, I'm pursuing BTech from Bellore Institute of Technology. Currently, I'm in third year. So that's about myself. We'll quickly start to the agenda of today's CSS. So what is CSS? So as you can see, the first point, CSS, cascading style sheets. Style sheet. Can you relate something? HTML, if you know basics of HTML is used to present the contents on a web page. And on the other side, CSS is used to style that web page, how the content should look, what should be the color of the font, where should be the font. Everything comes under CSS. Okay, so let's quickly go through these points and I'll make you understand each and every one by one. CSS stands for cascading style sheets. I already covered. CSS, sorry, CSS is used to add styling description to the HTML content. As I told you now, it adds the styling to the HTML content that we are applying on a web page. It adds the styling to our whole of the content. CSS is also used to separate the web page content and presentation design style. HTML is used for web page content. On the other side, CSS is used for presentation design style. Okay, this also allows the uses of one presentation design to be used in multiple web page content. Suppose there's one, let's take an example of YouTube. If you have gone through YouTube, you can see that there are two sign-in buttons. One is on the top right corner and one in the left side, left middle side, maybe. Sorry. So both have the same styles. So if we write a small CSS code for that particular button, we can use it anywhere else in the code. Okay, so we don't need to write again and again. So it makes our time and efforts very less. Also, to store it or to save it, we save it with all the CSS files with the extension of .css. And CSS has a separate syntax and rules to be adapted. It's those syntax and those rules are universally accepted. It's not that in one India country or some other country is different, US is different, or UK is different, Europe is different. It's same for all. Okay, and each rule is a combination of one or more selectors. What is selectors and how it works, I'll come in few minutes. So after that, you'll understand this point. Let's move to the next slide. Okay, so next slide says advantages of CSS. It is a very simple and easy to use. Very simple, I would say. Through my personal opinion, I'm telling, it's very simple and easy. If you know the syntax, it's very easy to implement. Just you need to know how good you are in designing and making the content look better and better. Okay, and it follows global web standard and hence it's very trustable. Global web standards means everyone has some protocols to use this to design a web page, and there are certain standards that all follows. It's not that I follows or you follow, you should follow. It's all standards and we all have to implement with that. It's platform independent also. It doesn't depend on platforms like you have to go to this website or you have to download this website and then practice it. It can be easily practiced or it can be easily written anywhere. It also saves a lot of time through internal and external styling. Internal, external means internal in a HTML code, you can write it as a in a small as a style or something like that. As our inline tags also in attributes, we can specify the CSS part, or else we can go with external. We can import with .css, the CSS file, and in that CSS file, the whole part of styling can be written. Since the styling is written separately in external CSS, the HTML page gets loaded. If suppose you have 100 lines to execute, it takes more time rather than if you have 10 lines or 20 lines, and CSS needs more lines rather than HTML. So if we add CSS in the same HTML file, suppose in the internal file, it will take more time to load. But on the other side, if you done it externally, it will take less time to load because it will have 10 lines, basically 10 lines of code, and it will execute very easily. Okay, I hope basic knowledge of CSS and advantage is clear to you. Let's move further. So this is the basic structure of a web page kind of thing. First of all, we have web page. Then on the left side, we have structure. Under structure, how structure is made, that comes under HTML. We use HTML for the structure part of a web page. On the other side, we have style formatting, how the styles should work and how the web page should look. This comes under CSS. We'll not go to the structure part, but we'll go to the CSS style formatting part. Okay, now selector. The basic part, what is CSS, advantages, the structure of CSS is over. Now let's dig into selector. It's like the first topic of CSS, and before you start styling and before learning all the syntax, you should know about selectors. So as the name suggests, you can predict something. What selectors? Select means to select something or to point out something. That's the basic meaning of selector. So we are doing the same thing. A selector is a pattern that is used to select a particular element to be styled. The selector is made up of three parts: selector name, property, and value. The selector is a pattern that is used, like it's pointing to a particular tag that we need to style. Let's take an example of let's take a paragraph tag. Simply, paragraph p tag. If p tag, we want a particular paragraph to be in red color, or say suppose yellow color in our web page. So what we'll do, we'll just select p tag and write the property that we want to change. So in that, the p tag is like a selector that we are pointing out. Okay, so and the property is like the color, background, font style, font family, all the properties that we want to change for the particular selector name or the particular tag that we use it. Then comes its value. Value is simple, like if we take the example of color. So what are the can be values of a color? Red, black, yellow, purple, green, blue, etc. And if you take a font family, the font family, we can include Arial, Calibri, Times New Roman. There are numerous font styles, so we can use it in that way. I hope the basic definition of selector is clear to you. And now if we come to examples and types of it, you will get more knowledge about it. Okay. So now let's come to various types of selectors. So first off, we have type or element selector. Then we have ID selector, class selector, universal selector, and group selector. So now we'll go and know about each of them particularly. First of all, we have type selector. This matches and select all the elements with the given name. It simply styles whatever the name you give. The basic syntax for its element, then the style and the properties. I hope you can see a small example code snippet here. So let's go to first the HTML part. We have the little body and body tag, the HTML head, title, that's different. We'll consider to this mainly part so that you can understand what type selector, how type selector works and what it is. So we have two tags, H1 and H3 tag, and there's some content returned, like this is header 1 tag, this is header 2 tag, header 3 tag, sorry, my bad. Now, if we go to CSS part, as you can see, CSS, H3 and H1. Sorry for the if you've got some disturbance. There's some construction going on here. Okay, so in the CSS part, if you can see H3 and in curly braces color blue, H1 color green. So what does H3 and H1 means here? H3 and H1 means element, the selector name. H3 and H1 are selectors. Yes, we are directly selecting them through their names. H1 tag and then H3 tag, we are directly selecting through their names, and then we are specifying the property or the style that we want to do with along with the value like blue, green, any color. We can give any color. So we are in this type, we are mapping it directly with the name. I hope if you have some confusions, I'll in the last part I'll run a basic program where you can see all the how it the type selector and all the things work. Okay, next up we have ID selector. This selector matches the ID value rather than the element name. It matches through the through the selector ID. We give a specific ID to the tag and it matches and it performs all the actions according to that ID. So, and also to write it, this we use the hashtag symbol before the value of it, before the ID value. So we can refer it as ID value. This can be used to refer to only one element only. It can't be, see, ID we are using because it's unique. Element name can be same for all, like p tag, p tag, p tag. We can have 3 different p tags, but we can't, if we give a particular ID to it, it's unique in the sense. If you want 3 paragraphs and both with different colors, you have to make 3 different IDs and then you can go with their styling part. So here's one example also here in the body tag. Here, as you can see, H3, then ID, my ID. You are specifying a ID for this. To style it, the content will be CSS H3 ID selector. And if you see the CSS styling part, this one hashtag my ID. What is my ID? My ID is the ID for H3. We are not mapping through H3. In the previous element type selector, we link with H3. If we want a type selector, we go for H3, and if we want with ID, we'll go with the ID part. Then it's written color, blue, font size. We can go any property. So the basic difference I'm telling, making you understand is, in this part we map the tag that we want to style, the selector, through the ID with hashtag symbol, then the ID name, and then the property and styles. Okay, now we move to the next part. Next up we have class selector. The class selector searches for the class name in each tag rather than the element name. In the previous one, we are searching for ID. In this, we are searching for class. There can be more than one element referring the same ID value. This is written with a dot symbol preceding to the class name. Let's quickly come to the code snippet part. It will be easy for you to understand rather this definition, but I hope you got the basic idea. If you go to the HTML part, in the body tag, we have H3 class equals to my ID. But in the previous one, it was ID equals to. Okay, so I hope you got the difference of between ID and class. We are mapping it with the class name. You can see in the CSS code dot my ID. There you use hashtag. If you are using hashtag, we are referring to ID, and if you are using dot symbol, we are using to the class name. Okay, so here my ID, then H1 my ID. If you can see, both the classes name are same, my ID, my ID. But how will able to differentiate? To differentiate, we can use the tag name dot then the class name to differentiate between the two same classes. And then in the curly braces, you can write any property, color, background color, anything, and specify the value for it. Okay, now move to the next part. Next part, we have universal selector. If you are feeling like I'm going a little fast, let me know in the comment section. From other videos, I'll try to be little slow, but that's my space. Okay, I hope you will getting it. Also, do let me know how am I doing. It's going fine or not. Okay. Okay. So now move to the content part. Universal selector. So the universal selector selects all the elements in the given page without any consideration of the element tags. It doesn't consider any tags it just changes all the tags with the specified property or specified style. This selector is used when there is a need for a common style to be applied for the entire document. Suppose you have a document, a web page, and in that you want uh, the font size to be 14 pixel or say 16 pixel. So, and you don't want to specify for each and every paragraph this 16 pixel font size. So to change whole of it, we use this universal selector. To use it, we use the star symbol for it. As you can see in the CSS part, we have the CSS star symbol and then the property. So it will change whole of the document. In the HTML tag, it's written H3, H1, and so it doesn't consider about H3 and H1 and or any other tags written. It will change all the whole document or a whole the web page with this color blue and font size 12 pixel. It's very simple. Like to change all, we are not specifying any name or color, name, ID or class. We just specify all things. Okay. Next up, we have group selector. In this group selector, if we have a common thing, a common property that we want to apply for two same tags, then we use club it. This selector is used to group all elements with same styling property. Comma is used as a delimiter between elements. The comma is used to separate it. Let's go to first the HTML part. Here we have body tag, the H1 and H3 tag. This is header tag 1. This is the content. Don't need to look into it. You can change it. But if you look to the CSS code, if we want a same property like color to be blue for both H1 and H3, then we use H3 comma H1 and then we specify the property. As you can see also in the I have given one comment, both H3 and H1 tags are grouped to have the same property, the same styling they will have. If we specify the font size also, it will be same for all, because if we want a pair kind of thing, a group kind of thing to be applied for both the tags, then we use this group selector. Okay, so now all the 5 group selectors are over. Now we'll look to an example, actual demonstration of it. Let me go to my text editor part. Okay, so I've written a code because to save the time, to save the typing time, I have written a pre-code. Okay, let me figure it to show you up properly. Okay, I hope it's visible in the screen. Okay. First up, we have HTML, the basic tag, the head tag, then we have the title. I have written CSS. If you have, as I mentioned earlier to you, if you have some basic knowledge of HTML, then it will be easy for you to understand. Okay, now we have the style part. But first, we will directly go and look to the body part. Here, I have included. Okay, let me do something like that. Yeah, here I have included the paragraph type. Hello everyone, today's some lines. Basically, I have used 4 paragraph tags with two paragraph tags simply, and in the third one I have used one ID hello, and in another one I have used one class names as weather, and in the div tag I have used the span, and last up we have the header tag. Okay, and then at the closing the body and HTML. Okay, now let's go to the styling part. First, we have the type element, the type selector. In this, what I have mentioned, P, the selector name. As you can see the P tag here, hello everyone, and always do your best, something kind of this lines. So I have specified the color for it as purple. Rest I have given ID class. Okay, let's comment out this first so that you can see the basic difference of all the things. Give me 1 second. I'll comment out all the other parts so that you can basically make a difference from each. Okay, fine. Now I'll run this code and then I'll explain you what is happening here. Okay. Uh, okay. So as you can see, hello everyone, always do your best. Hello everyone, today's weather is so pleasant. Hello everyone, today's weather, stay safe and all. So here, as you can see, the first 4 lines are in purple color, but the last 2 are in black. Why so? Now let's look into the code first. As you can see, I have mentioned the purple color for the p tag, and if you can look carefully in the body tag, I have 4 paragraph tags, but in this 2 I have mentioned the ID and class, but as I have commented down the other part, it will follow all the paragraph tags that it has in the document. Because I'm naming it, I'm considering all the paragraph tags. Why the other part is in black? So because here I have used the p tag, not the div tag and span. In the div I have used the span and footer tag. So in the span and footer tag, I have not mentioned the purple color. I have just mentioned the paragraph tag to be in purple color. So that's why it's going to be in purple color. I hope you got the point of how the ID or the type tag works. Now let's go with the ID tag. I'll remove the comment part and I'll comment out the type tag so you can see. Okay, now I'll run again, refresh my web page. Okay, now you see the difference. The third one is in green and the style is also a little different. So now let's go to here. As you can see in the third one, I have mentioned ID as hello. Hello as ID for this paragraph tag. And I have mentioned hashtag hello. I have mentioned a few minutes back for the ID, we use hashtag and the ID name. So hashtag, then the ID name is hello. And then I specified the color is green and font family is Verdana. So that's why it's changing for only the third part. For rest part, it's not changing because I have not specified anything for it. Okay, and but in the previous one, what I was doing, I was mapping with the name p tag, and here I'm mapping with ID. I hope you're getting the difference between the two. Okay, now let's move to the class selector. I'll remove the comment section from this part. Oh, sorry. Okay. First I'll run it and then you'll see the changes. See what it's doing. In the fourth one, the text is in red color and the background is in yellow color. Come back to it. Come back to the code. In this, what I am highlighting, this paragraph tag has the class as weather, and in the style tag, I'm mentioning dot weather, color it as red and background is yellow. As you can see the difference between a class and ID. For class, we use dot symbol, and for ID, we use hashtag. And in the how to specify it using the class variable. Class equals to what will be the class name. ID equals to ID name. So you can see the basic difference between ID selector and class selector. Okay, now let's move to the other part. I'll comment out this one and now move to the universal. Now it comes the universal. Universal means it will change whole the content. Okay, now I'll just refresh it. Okay, I hope you can see it. All things are in purple, blue, or whatever color it is, and the font size is coming to 14 pixel. As you can see in the code, star symbol is used for universal. It doesn't care about what are you specifying in ID, class, which p tag, span tag, footer. It will change the whole web page to it the specified. Here I specified blue violet and the font size is 14 pixel. So it changes the whole document. As you can see here, the whole web page is completely changed. Okay, now let's move to the last, the group selector. So wait, I'll first remove the comment out, comment section, and then I'll show you. First, I'll run it, reload. Okay, as you can see, the last part, stay safe, stay healthy. If there is no struggle, there is no progress. It's coming in orange color. Why it's coming in orange? Let's see. As you can see here, I have mentioned span in div tag and footer outside the div tag. I've written some lines. Okay. And here what I've done, I've used two span and footer tag among each, like together as a group, and I have mentioned the property as dark orange as the font color and the font family as Arial. Okay, so what I'm doing here, I'm not specifying an ideal class here. I want two tags to with same styling. I don't want different. So to do it, we are grouping the two tags each other. And in this part, I guess you got my point how I'm differentiating ID, element, group, and universal. So this is the group selector part. Now what we'll do is we'll remove all the comments and we'll run with the all of these. Like, let's see, is the universal only is working or the class is working or what's happening. Let's have a look. By the time I'm doing, just let me down in the comment section. What do you think? It should go with ID class or it will go with universal? It will only be in blue violet or in 14 pixel. It will change the whole document where I am applying all the selectors. Okay, please first comment down it and then we'll see. Okay, I'll save it and then reload. Voila, wow, it's applying all. So whoever has commented all, congrats, you have understood. And those who haven't, just revert back my video, this video back, and you will get to know it. Okay, so what is doing here? P tag, its color is purple. Water is purple. The first two are in purple. Why? Let's go to the style body tag. Here I have specified two paragraph tags where I haven't mentioned any idea class. So basically it's following the same thing. It's coloring these two in purple. Now we have next with ID. So if we have where I specified ID as hello, hashtag hello, it's changing it to green and Vardhana. As you can see, the third line, hello everyone, is in green color and the text style is Vardhana. And the fourth one is in red color and yellow background. Why? Because I have specified as this in class dot weather. Weather is a class. I have specified it in the P tag. It's a paragraph tag that it's a weather. The class name is weather. And in the last part, the div and the span tag, I have used the span footer. And here the dark orange it's coming. See. So where this blue violet universal thing gone? Universal thing will work if I haven't specified anything for other tags. Suppose, okay, let me make one more change here. What I can do here is I'll give ID equals to best. Okay, I haven't specified anything for it. I just specified the ID. What will happen now? Let's reload it. Still the same. Why? Because I haven't specified the ID best anywhere here. Only I have specified ID hello here, and other things I have done in P tag. Let's do one thing. From purple, let's go to yellow. Sorry for my spelling. Yellow, light yellow. Save, reload. See, as you can't see it, I'll just select it. The content is visible because it's too white, so it can't be visible. But I hope you got my difference. The difference between type selector, ID selector, class selector, universal selector, and group selector. So this was all about the selector part and the basic CSS part. As I have already covered all the 5, explained you theoretically, and I have also showed you examples. I will show given examples with small code snippet also. So I hope you got all the idea about CSS and what are selectors. Next topics about CSS will cover up in next videos. And also I want you to comment down. This is my first video as in front of camera. Okay, so I want you to drop down a like button for me, and also comment down what are the mistakes that I have done and how I can improve it in future videos. I'll surely look into it. Okay, bye bye. Hola.